Okay, we're back, and again, CAEC practice test for Canadian adult equivalency. Here we go, Charlie. Here's question number 2. Again, you have 90 minutes to do this one. This one clearly from the question you're using a calculator for, but guess what? Not today, because today is, might as well learn as we go through it, right? If you can, multiply, add, subtract, and divide. You're shooting yourself right in the foot. You should know your multiplication tables. I'll harp on them enough. What's the question say? The sales clerk makes $14.75 an hour. The person at the cash, $14.75 an hour. Got it. Pretty close, pretty close. The assistant manager is going to make more than the sales clerk, but how much more? 1.5 times more. 1.5 times more. If I say that I make twice as much as you, and you make $20 an hour, I make $40 an hour. If I make 1.5 times more than you, you multiply it by 1.5. So we're going to need that for certain. The manager makes 2.5 times what the sales clerk does. Wow, 2.5 times. You make $10, and I'm the manager, I make 25. This guy makes 15, or this person makes 15. Either way, I got an idea or feeling that we're going to have to multiply this by this and this by this somewhere in the question. I want to know the total amount of money for all 3 of them in a 7.5 hour day. Oh, why couldn't it have been 8 hours? Because you're using the calculator, it's going to be easy anyway. But this is where we're going to do some long multiplication, good old Grampy style. Okay, so if I want the total amount of money for all 3 on a 7.5 hour day, there's a couple of different ways I can do it. I can look at the sales clerk and go, how much does the sales clerk make in a day? Well, I know it's $14.75 an hour times 7.5 hours. At least I could find out what the sales clerk made. A little bit more work with these folks. Assistant manager, you're going to have to multiply the 1.5 to find out how much they make an hour. And then how many hours a day? Oh, same amount, 7.5. Multiply it again. Manager is going to make 2.5 times what the sales clerk does. So we should find out what that is first before we do what? Multiply it by 7.5 to find out how much it costs for a day for all these folks. And all of these folks, we're going to have to add it up. So I'm looking at a question like this. I'm going to set it out on a nice set of line. And maybe if I do use my calculator, it's nice and easy. And I'll have all the answers that I need over here, and then I add them all up. So watch the way I'm thinking about it. The sales clerk, I want to know how much over here that they make in a day. And then this person in a day. And then this person in a day. And then I'm going to draw a line under it, add it all up at the end to the nearest dollar value. And I notice that's an online test, so they can be a little touchy sometimes, and you're carrying decimals, and don't worry about it. That's why they give you 2 or 3 tries. Okay, so how much do all 3 of these guys make in a day? Sales clerk first. $14.75 times 7.5 hours to find out how much they make in a day. 7.5 hours. Can we do that? Can we do that longhand just to see? I like doing these longhand every now and again. Just keeps the old brain ticking. So watch me as I go through. 5 times 5 is 25. Here are the 2. 5 times 7 is 35. Plus 2 is 37. Here are the 3. 5 times 4 is 20. Plus 3 is 23. Here are 2. Here are 3. 5 times 1 is 1. Plus 2, or 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. 7, 3, 7, 5. Now we do it with this one. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 7 is 49, 50, 51, 52. Carry the 5. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 5, 33. Carry the 3, 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10. Then we add these up. 5, 12, carry the 1, 6, 10, carry the 1, 1, 1. 3 decimals, 1, 2, 3, bring over 3 decimals. And our 14.75 times 7.5 is $110.63. Now, when it comes to rounding for decimals and you're dealing with change, have you ever got 0.625 cents? No. It's $110.62.5. So we always go up to 63. If this number here is 5 or up, we can move this number here to 63. Now, if it's 4 or below, you can leave it exactly the way it was at 62. $110.63 is what the sales clerk made in one day. Now what do we need? We need 2 more. Now, I'm guessing that you're using your calculator for this one because you were pressed for time, I think. So this would take quite a bit of time to do, and there's easy to make little kinds of mistakes as you go along. But $110.63 from the sales clerk. Okay, then I need the assistant manager. Wait a minute. If he makes this in a day, doesn't the assistant manager make this times 1.5 in a day? Of course, it's all how you think about it. You could still go, the assistant manager is going to make, I'm going to go assistant manager here, and he's going to make 1.5 times 14.75, because that's how much more he makes than the sales clerk. And then we're still going to multiply it by 7.5 hours, and we're going to get 594. I already worked this one out. 165.94. Now, curious, take 1.5 and multiply it by 110.63. I'll bet you get 165.94 because we thought about it as we were thinking about it. If you're making this in a day and the assistant manager makes 1.5 times more, then you just have to multiply it by how much that person made in a day, rather than go through all this. Now with the manager, the same way. Manager's going to make 2.5 times what the sales clerk did. For how many hours? Same amount. And that should work out to $276.56. And that's not the end of the question. Because the question asks, what's the total amount of money for all 3 in a 7.5 hour day? So as you can see, if you did it out longhand, it would take you a long time, or it depends how fast you are. Now, because we got this far in it, I'm going to show you how to. I'm going to add these 3 numbers together, and then I'm going to double check with the calculator when we're done, or maybe you can double check with the calculator because I tend to trust my own math sometimes. So, what does the question ask? Again, how much do all these folks make in one day? And how do we do that? Well, let's come down here. 276, because he's the manager, we'll put him on top. And then the assistant manager makes 165.94. And then the poor sales clerk makes $110.63. And then we have to add them all up. Just straight columns. This decimal point will remain here when we're finished, and then all the numbers just add up, and then we slide those extra numbers to the left. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 1 plus 3 is 13. Carry the 1. I look for 10s all the time. 9 plus 1 is 10. And then 5 is 15, and 6 is 21. 2. 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 2 is 13. Carry the 1. 7 plus 6, 13, 14, 15. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, 4, 5. $553.13 for all 3 for a 7.5 hour day. But the question said to the nearest dollar. Is 553.13 closer to 553 or 554? It's definitely closer to $553. And that should be your answer. I'm going to double check with the calculator, but nah, maybe you check with the calculator. All right, catch you on the next one. Thanks.